Alright, what is good everyone? It's your boy Darth here, and today we're going to be taking the Star Wars Challenge. Now, I'm very new to the online Star Wars community and very new to doing content creation for Star Wars here on YouTube, so I feel like I have to introduce myself. And this Star Wars Challenge is a good way for you guys to understand who I am and what I'm about as a Star Wars fan. So it's going to be 16 different questions. They're pretty basic questions, but like I said, by the end of this, you'll know who I am when it comes to being a Star Wars fan. So let's get right into it and let's have fun with it. Now, question number one is favorite trilogy. Now, for me, that's easy. It's the prequel trilogy. It's the trilogy I grew up with. You know, the first Star Wars movie I ever seen was The Phantom Menace. It's also the first movie I ever seen in theaters. And on top of that, Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie out of all of them. So, you know, prequel trilogy got a lot of bias, but it's my favorite trilogy. But despite that, I love all the trilogies and all the movies a lot. So, you know, I'm just a huge Star Wars nerd. Question number two, favorite couple. I don't really care too much for any of the couples in Star Wars. I would say Anakin and Padme is probably my favorite couple just because they're some of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. But definitely Han and Leia definitely have a better couple vibe to me. So I'll probably say Han and Leia just because I think they're a better couple. But I definitely like Anakin and Padme more than I like Han and Leia, separately. Three, favorite character from the original trilogy. That's a no-brainer as well, is Darth Vader. Anakin / Darth Vader, definitely my favorite, characters in the Star Wars universe. But besides that, I feel like most people's favorite is Darth Vader. I would say Han Solo is probably a close second. But I would say outside of Darth Vader, almost all the original trilogy characters I like a lot. Yeah, I like them a lot. So I think there's like Darth Vader, pretty decent gap, and then like Han, Yoda, Luke, Leia, Chewie, Lando. There's so many characters that I like a lot from the original trilogy. I think it's the most well-rounded trilogy in terms of consistency and what I like. You know, I like almost everything about it, but the peaks don't reach as high. But yeah, I would say Darth Vader, and then everyone else is pretty close behind. Four, favorite characters from the prequels. Now, Anakin Skywalker is probably my overall favorite standalone character. I like Anakin more than I like even Darth Vader. The chosen one, the GOAT. I just love how Anakin's a Jedi who lives pretty lawless from the Jedi Code. And he's just destined for greatness. Always, having conflict and can never get his emotions right. I just always really felt attached to the character. So I would say Anakin's my favorite from the prequels. But there's a lot of really good characters from the prequels as well. Favorite character from the sequels. Now that's a really good one, especially with the Rise of Skywalker ending. I would say my favorite character from the sequels would either be Rey or Finn. They're pretty tight for me. I like the characters a lot, and I like them, like the chemistry they have together. So it's really hard to choose between them. But I will say I hated Kylo Ren in episode 7 and 8. I didn't hate him, but I didn't like him that much. But in episode 9, he grew on me a lot. And I feel like if I had more time with that character, and he, grew a lot more from that, spoilers, I'm not going to spoil anything. But if we got a lot more of that Kylo Ren, he might be my favorite standalone character from the sequels. But I have to say, overall, from all three movies, it would either be Rey or Finn. It's a toss-up. Different day would be a different answer. Favorite trio. That's a no-brainer as well. It is Luke, Leia, and Han. I just think they have the best chemistry. They make me feel all the different types of emotions together. I think they're funny. I just think they're they work so well together. They mesh so well, and the chemistry is just amazing. And I feel like no one else or no trio has come close to that amount of chemistry and just depth as a group. Favorite friendship. Oof. I think my favorite friendship is Anakin and Palpatine. I say that because it's very evil and it's pretty sinister, but just watching it unfold from beginning to end and how good Palpatine was at executing, kind of like the seduction of Anakin to the dark side, I think was really, really done really, really well, and I enjoyed it so much. I think there's a lot of really good friendships, but I think just like that dynamic probably puts that over the top for me as my favorite friendship. Even though, could maybe consider not be a friendship, but I consider it a friendship. Favorite droid? No brainer as well, R2D2. I think I love R2D2 the most, but I have one standalone like scene of R2D2 that's better than anything I've seen almost in all of Star Wars. And it's in episode 3 when they're invading that ship in the very beginning, and Luke and Obi-Wan are having R2D2 like control the elevator and try and get the shields up and help them out while they're on their mission. And the 2 battle droids come over to him, and he drops the oil down, gets them to slip up, and then he uses the jet to just light them up. I think that was so hype, and I just think that will forever be ingrained in my brain as R2D2 at his best and the greatest droid. I will say though that there's a lot of good droids, like the mercenary droid in The Mandalorian is definitely up there for me as well. I know The Mandalorian is very new, but that droid is super sick. And C-3PO obviously super awesome. There's just a lot of really good droids, but I think R2D2 is definitely the best. Number 9, who would be your Jedi Master? I would want Anakin to be my Jedi Master, but I feel like that's super obvious because I told you how much I love Anakin. I think outside of Anakin, Qui-Gon Jinn would be a super awesome Jedi Master just because he was a Jedi, but he also kind of went against the code and had his own beliefs and his own morals. And I think that's really important, especially when teaching someone. If you just teach someone by the books, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be as natural, and I don't think you're going to reach, certain peaks. I think Qui-Gon Jinn would just be super awesome. And I really love the character. Gone too soon, rest in peace. But yeah, I definitely really love Qui-Gon Jinn. I think he would be like an ideal master when it comes to being a Jedi. Question number 10, favorite lightsaber color? I mean, red is just so sick. I've been watching a lot of Galaxy Edge videos though, and I've seen this black crystal, and I have never seen it on a lightsaber, but I think it would be really cool. But I think standalone color that is like pretty well known, I think red or purple are definitely my 2 favorites. I think purple it's just so cool, and I would love to have a purple lightsaber if I was a Jedi. But as a Sith, obviously, just the red is just so sleek, so badass. It screams out power and, conviction, and I think that's super awesome. Later dark side, I am definitely with the dark side of the Force. Darth Sora, you already know. And a lot of my favorite characters are Sith, but I definitely think I love the light side of the Force a lot as well. I think it's like 60-40 in the dark side's favor, so I think I would generally be a dark side user, but I definitely got love for the light. 12, overrated character. I don't know people's opinion that much on who they really love in Star Wars, but I think in terms of movie, even though I love this character a lot, I think Rey is very overrated. I think what Rey was able to accomplish in the sequel trilogy is a little bit disrespectful to Anakin especially, and just a lot of Jedi that came before her. How she's not nearly as powerful, but she was able to accomplish so much. So I do think that Rey is overrated in terms of story. But as a character, I actually don't know who people love too much. I hear who people hate a lot, but I don't really see that much love. I think the internet is much more negative than it is positive. So in my personal opinion, when it comes to the Star Wars story though, I would have to go with Rey. 13, underrated character. Now that's a really good one. I think it would be Jar Jar Binks. I love Jar Jar. I think he was a great comedic relief and just a silly character. And I feel like I've seen a lot of hate for Jar Jar, and it's unnecessary. I don't know how you can hate Jar Jar. Like I said, maybe I can see how you don't love him. Like, he might be a little bit annoying and a little bit obnoxious at times, but you can't hate him. You can't hate on him, man. I really want to see Jar Jar as well. That theory is so funny, and I just think Jar Jar is just super fun, and I enjoyed him a lot. 14, favorite ship. I think it would have to either be Darth Vader's TIE Fighter or the Millennium Falcon. I think the Millennium Falcon is just too iconic to not be up there. But Darth Vader's TIE Fighter is also just so badass and sleek looking, and I really like it. I like the TIE Fighter look in general, but his, and especially just the way You know, the wings are different. I just think it's super awesome. But I'd have to go overall the Millennium Falcon because it's just too iconic. How can you not love it, right? It's been through so much. It's not that great of a ship inherently, but they make it work and they make it get the job done, and it's so badass. Number 15, Silas' death. All right, I'm gonna give the not spoiler because you should have already seen episode 7. Actually, no, I was gonna say Han's death, but I think Qui-Gon Jinn's death in episode 1, definitely the saddest one because it was just really unfortunate, and I feel like overall I want to see a lot more of Qui-Gon Jinn than I want to see of maybe some other characters. Like, I love Han Solo, and I don't want him to die the way he did, especially by his son when he was just trying to, you know, convert him back to the light. That was super tragic, but I feel like I've seen so much of Han that I can let him go. With Qui-Gon, it was just a super cool character that, you know, was gone way too fast, that I would love to see mature and be ingrained in the story a lot more. So I think overall Qui-Gon Jinn would be like my not super spoiler death. And then if you've seen The Rise of Skywalker, quick spoiler, you know, quick leave if you haven't seen it. It's been a month now though, so you should have definitely seen it. But Ben Solo's death at the end, I think, is super sad just because I started to love the character a lot more in that movie, and then Kylo reverted back to being Ben, and then he saves Rey, and then he dies. It was just very, very sad. And I think, you know, I would love to see more of him as well. You know, maybe if they ever do anything like post Rise of Skywalker, maybe give us like a TV show or like another movie. I would love to see his Force Ghost and just, you know, get to know Ben Solo more because we only really seen a lot of Kylo Ren. We didn't see much of Ben besides at the ending fight on Exegol. And number 16, favorite cast member. I think Ian McDiarmid is my favorite. Like, when I watch him in interviews, he's embodies that character so well in Palpatine. I just love watching his interviews and how he loves how evil the character is. If you watch him, like when he got casted, his original like meeting with George Lucas is just he wanted him in the film, and then they didn't really talk about the character. And then, you know, his agent told him he got the part, and he was like, well, what is it? He's like, well, apparently you're the Emperor of the Universe. He's like, sign me up. I don't care what it takes. I don't care, you know, how much I get paid. I want to be the Emperor of the Universe. And he does it so well. I think he overall like ingrains his character the best out of anyone. I think besides that, Harrison Ford is a close second. You know, Mark Hamill. They're so good. There's so many good of them. So many good characters and actors that portray these characters. But I would have to say Ian McDiarmid is probably my overall favorite because I think he just embodies the character better than anyone else in the Star Wars franchise. So that was a Star Wars challenge. I know I kind of sped through it. Just personally, I've been trying to record this video. I've done like 20 takes and I keep messing things up. So I wanted to keep it a little bit more straightforward and just give my answers and a brief explanation why without going too deep into it, just so I don't mess up and have to keep reshooting this because it's been a pain in my butt. But that's the Star Wars challenge. Let me know what you guys think about my answers. I'm going to drop this image that has all the questions on it in the description below so you guys can take the Star Wars challenge as well. And, you know, engage with your, you know, Twitter followers and wherever you nerd out about Star Wars and just let them know, you know, who you are and what you're about as a fan. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun, you know, discussing my opinions and answering these questions. And it was great. And as always, may the Force be with you, and I'll see you guys next time.